I am Greg Gatto. I'm the Regional Commissioner for AYSO 1370 and the Boynton Knights. The board, our coaches, our volunteers, our DOC, we all have one common goal, and that's the safety of our players. So with that, tonight we have a special speaker. You guys have all received the email. He's going to speak tonight on the dangers that social media can present to our children. Detective Ramos is here tonight. If you could all silence your phones and welcome him with me. Detective Ramos.
Thank you. Okay, just a little background on myself to talk about how I got into this line of work. I'm a detective with Boynton Beach Police Department. Been there 15 years. The last 9.5 years I've been a detective, and I've worked in the Special Victims Unit. For what people don't know about that, child abuse, child neglect, sex crimes, all that nasty stuff we deal with. One of your coaches here has been my partner working there for the last 9 years, Detective Lave, and he bought me lunch today, that's why I'm here. I owed him. So anyway, like I said, I'm with Boynton Beach, been there, and I started off originally doing cases, with DCF on kids that got abused and all that, and slowly migrated into the field of internet crimes, dealing with child exploitation, chatting online, finding people sharing videos, pictures online. Yes, I've posed as a 12-year-old girl, 13-year-old boy online. I know I don't look that young, but. So I'm on multiple task force. Here in Palm Beach County, I'm sworn in through the State Attorney's Office as a special investigator, which gives me countywide jurisdiction for any of my cases. I'm part of the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force for South Florida. In the United States, there's 61 task forces. Florida has 3. South Florida, Central, and North. I'm part of the South. Been doing that 7 years now, 8 years now. Besides that, I'm part of the Miami Electronic Crimes Task Force. What that entails me doing, I work with the Secret Service. They send me to a bunch of schools for computer forensics, cell phone forensics, network intrusion, all this deep stuff. I'm part of the FBI's Mind Device Task Force. What I do with them is human trafficking. Kids are being trafficked, also labor trafficking. With that, I was deputized as a U.S. Marshal, so that gives me jurisdiction all over the United States. Kind of helps out because these cases spread apart everywhere you go. What we're seeing now is a larger trend of kids getting in trouble online. Everyone has a smartphone, right? How many kids here have a smartphone? How many kids here want a smartphone? No. I mean, phones are good and they're great for kids to have at certain times, but with anything else, it's a responsibility. There's a lot of people out there that look to prey on children all the time. And pretty much I wanted to go through a couple of different presentations. One that's done by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It gives a little background on what to look for. And then I'll do another PowerPoint presentation where I'm going to teach you about technology in the simplest form possible. So there'll be no parent or guardian here that can say, I don't understand this. That's one of the major things I get when a parent comes to see me. I don't know anything about electronics. Well, I didn't know that much either, a couple of years ago. But there's ways to figure it out how to be taught to you. So we're going to go through all those steps. So let me start this and then get a little background on what NetMech is about. NetMech has a lot of sites online that are good for parents to go to teach the kids about the internet. And it's called netsmarts.org. A lot of videos and tutorials talk about cyberbullying, how not to befriend people online who you don't know. Who you think you know isn't always who it is on the other side. And kids nowadays are very trusting of people. They think everyone's their friend. So Let's see. There's a parent's guide on the website you can download. Talks about inappropriate pictures, choices that you make. You know, we all know when you put something out on the internet, it's there forever. There's no way to pull it back again. So our idea is to try to teach kids how to be responsible with their phones and what not to take pictures of and what not to post out there. Because no parent here wants to get that phone call from a police agency that says, I need you to come down and speak with us right now. And you get that gut feeling like, uh-oh. So, you know all the things you can get online with nowadays. Computers, laptops, cell phones, MP3 players, gaming devices, e-readers, tablets. One of the major misconceptions I get from a lot of parents is they give a younger child an old cell phone. And they say, you know what? Cell phone's not hooked up to a cellular company. Yeah, you can go play with the cell phone. You got games on, they can play games. Well, with all the apps that are out there nowadays, as long as there's Wi-Fi signal, now you just gave the kid a phone over Wi-Fi. And that's what a lot of parents don't realize. Yeah, I try to impart on them, you know, you give your kid something, monitor it. I'm under the impression I'm a parent first and a friend second. You know, you got to put your foot down with anything else in your life. Keeping the kids safe. This is another one of those things. I talk from experience. I have 3 kids of my own. One is grown and 2 younger ones. So, and even these gaming systems, we all want, you know, get our kids Wii, PlayStation, Xbox. You know, we want to give them what we didn't have as kids. You know, but we also got to understand what goes along with that. We can't be naive to what these devices can do. A lot of these devices, Xbox, PlayStation, Wii, they can hook up to the internet and they can play with people all over the world. Can connect with them. Someone sends them a friend request. All the kid does is accept, not knowing who it is, thinking it's innocent. Now they can be talking with someone from Russia, someone from California, someone from Pakistan. You just don't know. And there's conversations that go back and forth here. You know, words come up on the screen. You can send pictures, you can send videos that way. Now you think your kid has a headphone on, you can't hear what's going on. You don't know what's going on there. You don't know for sure who it is. We've lost this face-to-face contact anymore in this world. The internet is everything behind the phone. You know, it's no personal contact. Kids are not learning how to have conversations, normal conversations. Everything is an instant message, a text. So you really got to. My major thing is I tell people, if you don't know what something is, get to your computer and Google it. Use Bing. Any search. You have an app on the phone. You don't know what your kid's doing with the app. Look it up. And take all of a minute or two to see what it is and read about what it is and whether you think they should have it on their phone, on their iPad, on their computer, all the above. What the children do online. Main thing is talking to your kids about if they're on one of the devices and they see something that scares them, makes them feel uncomfortable. That they're able to come tell you or to trust an adult. Whether it be a teacher, whether it be a police officer, a firefighter, guidance counselor, tell someone about what's inappropriate there. So you can stop it from going further than that. Privacy is another thing. We try to tell kids to limit what they talk about online with someone that they don't see face to face. You may think your friend's name is John 123, and it could be someone totally different. But you say, hey, I go to Christopher McCall School, I'm in the 7th grade, and I live close to the school. They give all this personal information that they don't need to. You know, this is the one time I want kids to lie and not give out the information, is when they're online. Because people track this back. You know, these online predators are thinking of ways to get into a child's mind and befriend them. What they do is say everything that the kid wants to hear. You're great, I can't believe your parents are like that, you seem very mature. And the term that we use in law enforcement is called grooming. They're never going to make the kid upset or say anything to make the kid upset. They're going to be on their side for 100%. So they're fighting against what you're trying to do. So, in your house, if you have a child that goes up into the bedroom, first floor, second floor, closes the door with their laptop, and you can't see what they're doing, something's wrong. And I should actually say most of these, a lot of my personal views are from work that I've done. They in no way, shape, form part of the Boynton Beach Police Department, state attorney's office, anybody else. Let me put that disclaimer out there. It's like, still keep my job. But this is what I see. I mean, for the last 9 years that I've been doing these cases, parents are oblivious to what's going on. You know, the kid gets a certain age and they stop parenting anymore. You know, the kid can do this, this, and this. It's a new world nowadays. There's a lot more dangers out there than when we were growing up. You know, the internet's connect so many people all over. And one thing I implore upon parents, your child has kids won't like this, but I'm going to say, child has a password, you should know each and every password. Email addresses, screen names, all these apps that kids are using nowadays, Kik, Snapchat, Ooh, all of those, a lot of them put their real name, but they have a screen name, and that's how they know one kid from another kid, or they pass the names back off from school or from other friends. You have to get in those electronic devices and look and see what's there. Take pictures of it with your own phone so you know. You know, if the child has a phone and you don't know the password for it, there's a problem. You know? All your parents and guardians are buying these phones, or paying for the cell service, or paying for the Wi-Fi service. These are things you should know. Another thing we see a lot of nowadays is cyberbullying. In my day and age when I grew up, you know, there was no cyberbullying. If you had to have a fight with someone, you made them outside, you punched it out, and it was over. Nowadays, it's instant messaging. Within seconds, things are going back and forth. People taking video, pictures of each other, and sending back and forth, and trying to get someone else in trouble or talking about them. This is all electronic data that you should be seeing on their phones and devices. This is real. A child's identity in this electronic world is very fragile. They want to be accepted. They don't want no one to hate them. Right? Want lots of friends? Okay. So, as parents, you have to get in there and look at these devices and see what they're doing, what their names are. As I do a lot of these presentations at different schools, elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. And you kind of got to gear it to, well, how old the child is. But teaching them about proper net etiquette, language to use online. How to look up, if they say inappropriate content comes on their phone or the computer. Pop-ups, not sharing passwords. Not trusting everyone you meet online. Teens and tweens, you got cyberbullying, sexting, posting personal inappropriate information. And we see this more nowadays from middle school and high school. Middle school, I would say right now is the worst. You know, these kids are going wild all of a sudden. They get a little more freedom, they get a little older. But we have laws here in Florida right now for sexting. Many parents don't know. First offense is community service. Second time you get caught is a misdemeanor. Third time you get caught, it's a felony charge. The reason behind this, we know kids are going to do some stupid stuff at times. So the first one's a break. Hey, listen, get smarter, don't do the same thing again. But you got to understand, when they're taking pictures like this and sending it out there, it's out there forever. You're not getting it back. And trust me, it goes viral from person to person to person to person. And these predators, that's what they want to see out there. People sending them pictures. Bullying them online to send them pictures. You know, we have people online, these predators that pose as a girl, get a boy to send pictures of himself, and then they turn around and say, okay, you know, now that I got this, send me more. Otherwise, I know what your online profile is for Facebook or anything else, and cyberbully them into sending more pictures. This puts the kids in a really bad position because they don't want to get out there, and then there's more of these images floating around. For the parents here to understand, when we find adults in possession of pictures of children, there's three things they're doing. There's possession charge, the distribution charge, and the production charge. All high-weight felony charges. One kid sending to another kid is not what we're looking. We don't look to arrest anybody. An adult asking for new photos of kids, that's the people we're looking for. I can tell you over the last 7 years, I've arrested doctors, lawyers, teachers, coaches, other police officers, priests, rabbi, you name it. The gamut goes all over the place. Some of the things when you're talking about when you find out that something's happening, don't frighten your child. Don't make it seem like they did something really bad. You know, you're going to shut them down and they're not going to want to talk to you. And if that happens, game over right there. You really don't know what's going on. You're not going to force them. They're going to keep the secrets. Listen attentively, you know, non-judgmental. I can tell you when I do interviews with children, one of the first things I tell them on each and every interview, you're not in trouble. I'm not here to arrest you. You know, I talk to children of all ages. And in my interviews, I have one rule. They can tell me anything, any way they want to say it. They won't offend me. My one rule is it's got to be the truth. I tell them that, and more times than not, you see the kids respond to that. You know, they'll tell you what's going on. Answer questions. And if you're not sure of something, call your local police department, sheriff's office, any city agency. Call up and ask somebody. Take that extra step. You're not bothering us at the police department. We're either at Dunkin' Donuts or getting lunch. Now, seriously, I mean, this for me, doing investigating these crimes has been the best part of my career. The last 16 years I've been in it. I love going after people that think they're going to hurt kids. Your kids are innocent and the most vulnerable out there. We get more information. I get more information about new networks and everything that's going on from kids when I do school presentations. I ask, hey, what's the latest apps, whatever, and someone tell me this one or that one. I say, I never heard of that before. What is that? I Google it myself. I download the app, check it out. And I make myself profiles as a kid on there and see what's out there. Like I said earlier, I mean, there's 350,000 apps out there. There's no way you can know all of them. But report it. Call your local agency. Tell a school board police officer. I mean, we're lucky in Palm Beach County we have school police. They're at the schools every day. Go up and tell one of them. They'll contact one of us in the agency or one on the task force and we'll come out and speak with you. We'll make it convenient for you. We'll come out to you. I keep my equipment with me all the time. I can go out to anybody's home anytime and image out a computer or download a phone, whether it be an Apple, Android, Windows, whatever, and get the information we need to make a case. One of the main things I tell parents, don't start deleting everything. You know, that's my evidence to go after somebody. Have the phone from the shelf, take it away from them, and hold on to it, and make the phone call. That's my one plea to you guys. One of the things that kids, tell them to do, hey, if something offends them on the screen, it's a computer, turn off the screen. Or tell adult, use the back button, tell a trusted friend, report it to the website or appropriate agency. Don't post something online. We try to teach you, don't post something online that you can't pull back. Nowadays, we live in a much different world. Kids are posting all the things about having destructive behavior, having firearms, having weapons in school. They openly put this out there. We have to be monitoring what they're talking about to see for the safety of all the kids. If every concerned parent does their job, school should be a safe place again. And that's what we run into nowadays. Move up to the This is I put this little presentation together so you can start seeing some of the things that common apps that are on cell phones. Instagram, Kik is a big one out there. Well, these apps, what they do is bridge people able to chat with each other and to send pictures and video. Everybody has a username, and someone knows someone else's username, and they can converse back and forth. This is the one I hate the most. And most kids out there say, "Well, I want this app." Let me give you a little background on what Snapchat is. I've been to a couple webinars from the creators of this device. What it does is the ability to chat back and forth with someone, send pictures and video, but you can put a timer on there where when someone activates what they're looking at, it only lasts for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. You can set the setting for how long before it self-deletes itself. Once it self-deletes itself, it's gone. Now you would think with all the technology we have nowadays that you can always get stuff back. This is the one program where it's very hard to get anything back on. We can find buddy lists and certain connections, but messages, the program itself goes back out there and writes zeros over what was just sent, which makes it unrecoverable. So I know you watch CSI and you think we can do everything, but that isn't the case. So this is one I don't recommend for kids to have. They're going to have it, most of the time, but not my kids. Moco Space, another one. Grindr. You'll see one of these, and a lot of people have no idea. Anybody know what this app is for?
No. Enlighten us.
Enlighten us. This is one where I see with a lot of teenagers, boys that aren't your traditional kind of relationships. I don't know how to put it more politically correct than that. Same gender relationships. How's that? That make it easier? There's tons of these out there. There's Grindr, Boyhoy, Jacked, you name it. There's tons out there. And some of the hardest cases for us to go after happens to be more with boys. Boys don't want to disclose something that's going on in that kind of network. Very private. But I have a bunch of articles how these people befriending teenage boys, and due to their naiveness and not knowing how to deal with what's happening with them, prey on them. I've got a lot of bad guys. I got a principal from Polo Park in Wellington that I arrested over this one. Got another teacher out of Texas that was here visiting family. Uvu's another one, chatting, video. WhatsApp, everyone seems to have WhatsApp. Skype, Tinder. Does anybody know what Tinder is? Any single people here? I know someone here knows what Tinder is. Tinder's a dating site. It's supposed to be a dating site where you see someone's picture, you like them, you click yes, and then they know you click yes back and forth. And then everybody behind those pictures are actually the people. So just let you know. This is a weird individual here. A lot of them weird. He was HIV positive. Texas music teacher used app Grindr to have sex with a teen multiple times. I mean, you see some of the worst and worst. And you would think, hey, teacher? Never going to happen. No. It could be them just as well as anybody else. I get this all the time. Not my child. My child will never do this. Little Johnny, I know for sure that he won't do this. If I had $1 for every time I heard that, I would have been the Powerball winner. But let's see if this video plays from here.
Right now, these two teenage girls who police fear are being used as sex slaves have not been found. It's been 8 hours since deputies sent us an alert saying the girls are in danger. Cairo 7's Natasha Chen is live in Everett, and Natasha, you spoke with family members and friends of these girls.
Within the last hour, I spoke with a close family friend who told me Kiana Monson's mother found her daughter's cell phone after she disappeared. She found older men had been talking to her daughter on apps like Kik, where sex offenders have been known to target children before. Kiana Monson and Samantha Eldridge are friends and left home more than a week ago. Investigators believe they could be separated now and victimized in the world of sex trafficking. Monson's mother posted on Facebook, "I've tried almost everything on social media to help find her. I feel this is my last option."
Everybody's here for you guys.
Neighbors who watched Kiana grow up are heartbroken to hear she may be in danger.
I hope that she gets a hold of her mom and dad or her grandparents.
But the worry is the teens may not be able to if someone is preventing them from getting home. Investigators said the girls' last internet activity, the type of websites and communication they had, raises a red flag.
With sex trafficking comes usually a bevy of other crimes, usually drug abuse, physical abuse, sexual assault. So pulling them out of that world as quickly as possible is what we're aiming for.
Advocates for sex trafficking victims told us girls are often deceived into what they think are romantic relationships, only to be forced into prostitution.
Child rape, it's sexual assault. They're adult men who are paying to have sex with children.
Samantha Eldridge's uncle told me by phone the family is praying for her safe return. I spoke with a classmate of the girls who said the two of them had a bunch of bags packed with them last Wednesday. A family friend said detectives here found those bags in a car trunk in Everett. Everything except the girls' backpacks. Live in Everett, Natasha Chen, Cairo 7 Eyewitness News.
Now these are your two average teenage girls, good students, decent families they're growing up in, and they get caught up in something they didn't know how to control. And that's from being on a couple of these sites. I think they started off using, what was it, Kick was one of them, Zook. I mean, they were looking for attention, and they got attention from all the wrong people. And maybe if the parents had been more up and looking at their devices like they are now, they could have avoided this. The worst feeling for any parent, oh, go ahead.
Were they ever found?
Yes, they were. Yeah. The worst feeling for any parent is for the police to knock on the door and say, you know, and be there, hey, we found your child, and the child isn't good. I mean, being a parent myself, your heart sinks, you know. And you talk to these kids and they start off saying, oh, it was very innocent at first, and then all of a sudden, they couldn't get out of the situation. You know, they don't have the wherewithal at their age to know what these people are doing. You know, we know as adults, when we got in a dating scene, guys, we know what to say to girls. Hey, you're pretty, no matter what, you know the lines to say, you know. They're doing this with kids that don't know any better. These 15, 16-year-old girls that haven't had the life experience that the rest of us have had. You know, so they don't know how to respond to that. They get flattered by it. They maybe never had a boyfriend or, you know, never been out on any dates or anything like that. So they're very vulnerable to these kinds of things. The things to look out for, computers, I said, Xboxes, Wii, cell phones, PlayStations, tablets. I mean, if you ever suspect something on a child's phone, computer, tablet, computer, call us. I can download most phones within 20 minutes, and I do door-to-door service. Okay. I'm like Uber, but I get an Uber right over there. Okay, now we'll get to a little about the technology part of this. Cell phones usually, for the most part, are on 3 different platforms. Apple, Android, and Windows. Windows you don't see too much because the phones are kind of crappy. But the 2 major ones are Apple and Android. So, do you know what kind of phones your child has? It's an Apple Android? Okay, can anybody tell me what Android is?
Anything besides an iPhone.
What was that?
Anything besides an iPhone.
Anything besides. Android is actually an operating system. You have your Samsung phone, LG, ZTE, Hiwa, any of those. All those operate on an Android system. That's the software that runs in the phone. Even though it's a different manufacturer, they all use the same operating system. So the 2 major operating systems are Apple and Android. Android isn't a type of phone, it's an operating system. Cell phone providers. You can see the major ones, Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, Metro, and all the other ones that tag along on tag. But know your carrier. You should know if you're paying the bill. And if you need to get copies of your bill because you think your child's calling and they're deleting their phone calls, call up the phone carrier and say, I'm paying this bill. You're paying $100, $200 a month. Have them work for you. You know? Okay. What to do, I won't play the music in this because it gets annoying. What to do when you discover something's wrong. Don't delete possible evidence from a criminal case. I know our first instinct is, click. No, if you don't get rid of it, that helps us track someone back. Don't turn off device. You turn off the phones are different than computers. I'll give you a quick thing on a computer has a hard drive in it. The hard drive, you can save lots of stuff on it. It's a spinning platters inside. It's easy to recover stuff from that when it's deleted. Phones don't have that. Phones have little microchips, flash memory, that gets used up real fast and gets recycled. So when you delete something off of phones, you lose a lot of stuff a lot of times. Because there's only so much space on the phone, whether it be 16 gigabytes, 64, 128, there's only so much room that's on the phone. And the way phones work is when you delete something, the program itself moves everything around again and wants to write over the space where it's deleted something. Computers aren't like that. Computers don't use the same space right away. So you can recover stuff that was been deleted. Phones, not so much. Notify local law enforcement about it. Sheriff's Office, Boynton, Boca, Delray. Everyone has a detective assigned to the Special Victims Unit. Sheriff's Office has about 20, 25 people in crimes against children. They have an awesome computer lab up at North County Courthouse. They spend $1.5 million on it for equipment, servers, all the specialized equipment. They have tons of stuff. Besides that, Boynton, we have our own lab where we have stuff set up. We partner up with the FBI and their stuff, Homeland Security. So we kind of like bridge everyone's tools together because this stuff gets outrageously expensive. I think I said this earlier. Find out what an app is or what website is about it. Use Google or Bing. Does everybody here use Google or Bing? Everybody. We Google everything. There's a YouTube video on everything in the world. You want to change the faucet. You want to, your dishwasher isn't working. You need to know what the reset code is. Someone did a video on it. I guarantee you. Use this for that. You get your child's phone, and you put it down, you're looking at it. What is this app? Kick? What does this do? Google it, find out. Knowledge is power in this. I can't harp on this enough. You should know your child's phone password. I'll say it another time. You should know your child's password. You should know your child's email accounts, addresses, and passwords. As we all know with smartphones, you have to have an email address in order to set up a phone, whether it be an Android one or Apple. Know that email address. Have the password for that. See, some kids think they're slick. I run into this a lot of times. They think they give their parents the password at first and then they change it later on. Or after they think the parents aren't paying attention anymore, they do a factory reset on the phone and changes everything. So they give it everything and they install all new stuff again. Beware of that. If you know how to get into their iTunes account, because you have the password, or Google Play, both of those save every app that you've ever downloaded for that phone. It saves it on their website. So even if they delete it off the phone, you go into the Google Play account or the iTunes account and see that they once had that app on the phone. You guys didn't know that, huh? I'm going to let them know everything. There's no secrets here.
We all want to be close with our kids, but do you think it's important for them actually to like you? One celebrity mother, Kelly Ripa, says she does not care one bit. Kelly took the issue on the Wendy Williams show. It came up when Kelly said she recently punished her daughter after catching her texting during homework time.
And so I just said, you know, this is a Spanish test. It matters. It's not her strongest subject. And
does that help out? Consuelo.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, you're half Mexican. Your grandmother is a Spanish teacher. You're not allowed to fail Spanish.
Yes.
It's the one thing you're not allowed.
So now look, because we have a 14-year-old and she doesn't much like me anymore. Does she like you?
No, I don't think she likes me, but I don't care. I'm like, I'm not your friend. I'm your mom.
Not your friend.
That's it. You're a parent. Exactly.
Everybody agrees? I think you gain a little more political capital within the family if you...
You don't have to be their friends. Your job is to protect them and raise them. They're mad at you, they get over it. They're going to need stuff later on, money, ride to the mall. They're going to like you again, I guarantee you. I put this other up here, wishful thinking. The video when it plays, it's just everyone's all happy and playing games, talking back for everything simple. Life isn't like that. I wish it was, but it isn't. I'm a realist about stuff. I see for what it is. Like I said earlier, there's, in Florida, there's 3 different task forces. And just to let you know what the task force are made up of. They're made up of local police, county officers, state officers, and federal officers. So between all of us, we have jurisdiction anywhere. So wherever a case takes us, we'll take that agent with us. If I got to do something somewhere else and I need to get on the plane, I call up HSI. I fly on the plane armed. They walk me right by TSA. We get on the plane. We go get the bad guy no matter where they're at. Alaska, hopefully not Alaska, because I don't want to. It's cold. I don't want to go there. But I've flown all over the United States to go pick up bad guys. We will make the effort to do it. Your children are worth it. So like I said, there's North Florida, Gainesville Police Department runs that one. Central Florida is run by Polk County Sheriff's Office. You'll see that sheriff on the news all the time. Grady Judd, he loves to be in front of a camera. And then South Florida. South Florida Task Force is run by AYSO, which means they just pretty much handle money and equipment and disperse it out to the other agencies when they need equipment and stuff, depending on if they're doing cases. Those are your counties in Florida. Okay. I think I've talked for enough. Questions? Uh-oh. Don't be afraid. I don't bite. I have a question. If I don't have an answer, I will get someone that has the answer. Yes?
What's the rate for child trafficking in Florida?
A little closer.
What's the rate for child trafficking in Florida? How many kids are
Okay, how much child trafficking in Florida is? South Florida is very high. Where we see the most human trafficking with children is about sporting events. Super Bowl is coming up. People fly kids in from all over. Put them up to hotels, basketball games around American Airlines Arena down there, tons of it. I happened to be working late last night, and early this morning, but late last night, I got a call from Broward Sheriff's Office. The deputy was with a detective from Coral Springs. And Coral Springs detective was taking a case of a missing 15-year-old. In the process of trying to look for the kid, they looked on a certain website that's known for escorts. And lo and behold, whose picture do you think they came up on? Through investigation, they realized that the child was up here in Palm Beach County. So once they knew that, they're like, oh, they're down in Broward. Let me call Charlie, see what he's doing. We drop everything we're doing. 3 o'clock, we got the phone call. I must have made 1,000,001 phone calls to every supervisor, called the state attorney's office, the FBI's team, my guys, anybody around that could put an operation together to try to rescue this child. So the information we got that the child was at a hotel in West Palm. She was in the company of a woman that was older, there was a prostitute also, and that the pimp was there with them. Also a dog in the room. So we set up a little operation, got to the hotel, and there must have been 15 of us. Within 3 hours, we mobilized enough people to put an operational plan together, have an undercover officer, plainclothes people in the lobby of the hotel. And it wasn't one of the nicest hotels, let me tell you. It was a druggy hotel that they use. And got in there and was able to get the child out of the room. There was drugs in the room. Everything else you could name was in that room when they were doing stuff. Come to talk with the people in the room. A lot of, that's a question about human trafficking. A lot of the children that get caught up in that are hardened children. They're the ones that don't want to listen to nobody. They think they know it all. And they get caught up in this world that's so dangerous that they don't realize. But there's a high percentage of it down here in South Florida. That answers your question. Because number-wise, off the top of my head, I couldn't give you numbers, but there's a lot. Right. These are not kids that are getting kidnapped so much, but the kids that are running away from home. We see a lot of kids that are running away from home. We started doing something more than we did years ago. At the beginning, you take a runaway report, later the kids come back, and you know the kids are running away all the time. We're like, okay, this is another one of these reports. The officer takes, okay, in a couple hours, I'll send the report in because I know the kid's coming home. They're mad at the parents or whatever. But we started doing something because we got up with a detective in Dallas, Texas, who was on a human trafficking task force. And he was having a high success rate of really interviewing these kids after they ran away. Not just saying, okay, you're home, you're okay, everything's fine. There's a reason why they're running away. Whether it be the mom's boyfriend's in the house now, or I normally say, guys, but women get involved in this too. So, I've arrested women in this field too, so it's not just the guys. I put a label on guys, but high percentage is definitely guys. But interviewing these runaways is trying to take the time and effort to talk with them. A lot of these kids talk to you and tell you what's going on and stuff like that. They're straight up hardcore runaway, doing drugs and everything else, and they're caught up in the world that these older adults are controlling. Then they end up controlling them. They give them the attention they never had. Taking them to get the nails done, taking them to buy clothes. Most teenage females want a Michael Kors, watch, a bag, a Duty Berg, all these, Coach bags, I guess, that expect $300 for a bag. I never understand that, but they want all these nice things, but they don't have the money. What do you think the one thing they have to use for that? And they know it. And they disassociate themselves from that, which is sad. Now, you can just imagine how the rest of their life is going to go if they lose value in that. They lose value in themselves, and they just survive. I'm going to make it a little sad. Okay, go ahead.
Do you do these types of presentations at the schools?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, I go to schools and do these presentations, depending on the age of children. A lot of times I got videos from NetMag that are pre-approved by everybody that says, at this age, you can show this video and talk about this. I used to go to Hidden Oaks all the time because my nieces used to go there. And they had career day, firefighters show up, police dogs show up. I lose a lot of attention to police dogs. People don't want to talk about internet when the dogs are around. So I make sure I do my presentation before they do that, because otherwise you lose them. And everyone wants to ride on the fire truck. They're nice and shiny because they have a lot of time to clean the truck. You know what I mean? Yes, sir.
Is there any more, specific demographics that are targeted more so than others, as far as maybe poverty-stricken families, rich families, black or white families?
The question was, is there any specific group that's targeted more than others? I can't say so much more than the other, but it's vulnerable kids. You could have kids in a rich household that don't get attention because mom and dad's always traveling around and doing stuff, and they're getting attention. They're going to get it from somewhere else. So you can't say it's definitely a socio-economic thing there, but they just become vulnerable. Having them have strong self-esteem themselves prevents it. Tell them, hey, you're doing great schoolwork, everything else is doing good. Praising them for being in sports and doing great. I think sports is one of the best things for kids to do, keep them busy. If it was 6 days a week, that'd be fine with me. I can tell you, I've gone to a lot of soccer games with my son when he did it. I went to a lot of baseball games for many seasons and stuff like that. I know the commitment that all of you do there, practices, and especially, I've been a coach for the last 4 years, and I give to every coach out there that spends their time and effort when they can be home, relax, and spend time with their own family, doing all the get out there and try to give the kids a better life. and show them that this is important right here. Stay healthy, teamwork, look out for each other. You know, that's one of the most important things you can instill in your kids. And so I think sports is one of the greatest things for them. I have 2 nieces that go to That's Dancing. And I know my sister-in-law spends a boatload of money on all those outfits and all those lessons. I just see the checks as they go out. But you know what? They're always busy. No time to get in trouble. So, yes, sir.
You talked a lot about monitoring them and trying to keep an eye on them, but we're so busy as parents, you know, like you said. Are there any tools you can recommend that are proactive that send you like a weekly report or, you know, something like that, you know, via email that you can just review?
Good question. Is there something that you can have on a device that will give you alerts? Yes. Later on, I can give you a couple names of products. I can't endorse any, but yes. Put these programs on your computers, and there's certain ones that every keystroke the child does, you get a report on it. Text message goes, kid sends out, you get an email for it. You can see it. I mean, that's something I think more in extreme cases where you see, where you really have a strong gut feeling there's something going on. But you just gotta spend the time. I can't think of anything that's more important than your children. Anything going on in your life. Spending the time. We sacrifice so much of doing our own stuff for our kids. This is one of those. You know, you got to spend the time. You got to be united, you know, with parents, and you know, these kids got to be united together about it and speak with each other. That's the funniest thing I've seen over the years is that a parent tell me, "Oh, little Johnny went over to so and so's house for a sleepover." I go, "Okay, do you know the parent over there?" "No, I've seen him a couple times, but you know, I really don't know him." You let your child go to someone's house and you don't know the parent. Are you crazy? Talk with each other. You know, I'm not a big proponent on sleepovers. You know, everyone has their own house, they can sleep well in their own house. And no, there's nothing better being in someone else's house than your own house. Be aware of what your kids are doing. That's like I say, you know. We always have a rule, at least in law enforcement, that we do in our agency. When we go talk to someone of the opposite sex, always 2 of us. I did a case where I had to dump someone's phone the other day in Western Boynton. I asked Detective Lavin to come with me. He stood around and using his phone, searching the internet, whatever, but I had a second person with me. I feel the same way when you're dealing with instructing kids. There should be no closed doors. Someone else should be around. You need 2 sets of eyes on everybody. And I don't mean to be over paranoid about that, but I feel it works out better. And we have policies in our department. We arrest a female, we're getting a female officer to come out there and try to pat it down. Last resort, if we can, we'll do it, we'll videotape someone's monitoring something. The same thing goes with kids going off with other kids to the mall or whatever. And you know, not to be in a soapbox, but I see here in movie killer. Parents pull up, drop 5 kids off, pull off, and they're gone. They come back later on and say, when we do a detail out there, they come, "Hey, did you see these 3 kids here?" And we're like, "What movie did they go see?" "Well, I don't know." "Did they have your phone number?" I think one of them does, but you know, I don't know. And it's like, really? Movie theater isn't a babysitting service. You know? They can go in one door and come out the other door and you never know. I like phones that have Find My iPhone or Android Find It. If your kid turns that off, take the phone away. And I say this time and time again, a phone is a privilege. It's not a right. You know? Like I said, these are my views, not any law enforcement. From my experience in this job, being a parent myself or something like this.
How difficult would it be if a child or an adult's receiving harassing emails to be able to tell the location of where that email is coming from?
Okay, the question was, if someone's getting harassing emails, how hard is it to locate the person who's doing it? For the most part, most of the time, it's not too hard because we have an email address that belongs to some server with, you know, with some place. Here in the United States, anybody has Google, Yahoo, any of them, Microsoft, they have to be, they got to accept subpoenas when the state attorney's office saying, give us information on this person, who set up this account, and if there's an IP address associated with it, and tracking that back to AT&T or Comcast or whatever. So, but sometimes when you have some from other countries, you know, Hushmail or some of the other ones out there, it's a little harder, But like I said, we have one of our biggest assets is Homeland Security, ICE agents. I couldn't tell you how many countries we have agents in all over the world that have diplomatic immunity there and they work with us. We just call ICE up and say, listen, you have a attaché in Brazil, in this area, Sao Paulo. Hey, can you send them to this company here that has a server email and see if they help you out? So, you know, you can find it. You just got to, law enforcement officers got to make the effort to push harder for it and see what the exigency of it is. Come on, come on here. Don't make my job too easy. I asked adults a lot. Let me ask the kids in. You guys got any questions? Or did I scare all your parents into taking away your phones? Yeah, right? Ah, sucks. Sorry. I get paid to do that. But listen, no, in all reality, we want to keep you guys safe. That's what it's all about. We don't want you guys getting abducted. We don't want to hurt you. We don't want you being bullied. You know, it's for your own good. You may not understand it as much now, but I guarantee you when you turn to be an adult and you're 21 years old and you're having dinner with your parents and a glass of wine, you're all going to laugh about it later on. Guaranteed. And I'm talking from experience. But they will be your best friends then. Yes, sir.
Are there like any specific cell phone servers that have phones that specifically only call or text and do not have Wi-Fi or internet on them?
Yes, non-smartphones.
Well,
you know, the funniest thing happens when I do some of these investigations. Parent bring in the child's phone and say, oh, the child was sending these pictures or getting these pictures. And I have to keep the phone for evidence if I'm doing a case. And then I'll get hounded left and right for the next couple days. When are you getting that cell phone back? You're trying to prosecute someone who's trying to hurt your child. Really? Do you really need it back? There's evidence in the case. Do you want this person to go to jail? Do you really need it? Buy him a track phone. Go to Walmart, buy, you know, a flip phone and get the minutes. You know? If your child misused the phone, take it away. To me, it seems like a no-brainer, but some people, oh, well, you know, what if there's an emergency? I guarantee you there's a phone somewhere, someone else has a phone. Make them earn it, having that phone, having that tablet, having that iPad. It's a privilege. Someone's got to have a question. I know they don't want to say. That's good. I just got locked out of the computer, so that's good. No more movies. But even if you have a question you don't want to talk about now, I'll leave my number, my email address here with the association, or you can come speak to me after the presentation and, you know, talk in private or something. And that goes for kids too. I mean, if you've got something you want to ask or something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you don't know who to talk to about it, we're here today, you know, or talk to a school resource officer. I guess everybody wants to go home. Yeah, I do too. I'm hungry too. All right. Thank you for your time.